tamaham pashami. All right. Here we are. Oh, we only have 4 people tonight. Okay. At least we have the internet gods. Okay, so first we're going to chant Jai Radhamadhava as we normally do. And let's see. Hold on a second. Jai Radhamadhava Kunya Bihari Jai Radhamadhava Kunya Bihari Gopi Jana Malaba Kiri Varadhahuti Gopi Jana Malaba Kiri Varadhahuti Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari Gopi Janna Malaba Kiri Varadhauti Gopi Jana Malaba Kiri Varadhauti Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Manachari Yamuna Tira Manachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravidikacharya also Teta Sitashi Shiman His Divine Grace Savaya Chalana Bhaktivedanta Goswami Mahārshila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Vilas Thakur Ki Jai. Ram Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopikat Sayam Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavanam Ki Jai, Maturam Ki Jai, Jagadasami Ki Jai, Yamunamai Ki Jai, Shrimati Tulasi Devi Ki Jai, Sama Veda, Bhakta, Afrinda Ki Jai, Gaur Premalanda Hari Hari Go. All glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharni Nivashesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarni. So, Om Magadha Timidanda Shah Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So I offer my humble obeisances unto the lotus feet of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who so kindly opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge while I was blinded in the darkness of ignorance. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, we will continue with our study of the Bhagavad Gita, and right now we are on the 17th verse of the 5th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. And we're going to share our screen and go to the 17th verse right now. Actually, let me make it bigger so you can see better. Hold on a second. Okay. The better to see you with. Okay. So, let's continue. Text 17. Tan budayastat atmanasthanishtastat parayanaha. Whoops. Oh. That definitely doesn't help. That was a mistake. 14, 15, 15. There we go. All right. We will start over again. Here we go. Tat bhutyas taratmanas tad nishtas tat parayanaha gachancha punaha vrittim jnana. Hold on, somebody. Gachancha punaha vrittim jnana nirdhuta kalmashaha. Okay, tat buddhaha, those whose intelligence is always in the Supreme. Tat atmanaha, those whose minds are always in the Supreme. Tat nishtaha, those whose faith is only meant for the Supreme. Tat parayanaha, who have completely taken shelter of Him. Gachanti, go, apunaha, avritim, to liberation. Jnana, by knowledge. Nirdhuta, cleansed. Kalmashaha, misgivings. Translation: when one's intelligence, mind, faith, and refuge are all fixed in the Supreme, then one becomes fully cleansed of all misgivings through complete knowledge and thus proceeds straight on the path of liberation. Okay, so let's describe these words. Intelligence, of course, is one of the eightfold material elements. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence. And so intelligence means the ability to discriminate based upon one's goal or goals in life. In other words, you accept things based upon what your goal is in life, and you reject things based upon your goal in life. And you get your intelligence from Krishna. As Krishna says in the 15th chapter, that's where you get it from. Intelligence, remembrance, and forgetfulness. All right, and the mind is hopefully controlled by the intelligence. Now, if it's not, then your mind is your worst enemy, because your mind is telling you things that are stupid. Isn't it? So, in order to control the mind, you have to think, what is my goal in life? And if the mind's feelings or attractions or dictations don't fit into your goal in life, you just tell the mind, shut up. Or, as they say in Hindi, chuparo, which means, loosely translated, means shut up. Shut up. So anyway, so that's how you fix your mind. And as soon as you start to just trust your mind, if you're not Krishna conscious, then you're in trouble. You're not going to be fixed in Krishna consciousness. Okay, and then the word faith. Faith basically means to trust, implicit trust. Implicit trust is manifested by actions. Like if someone says, and we've talked about this before, if someone says that I have faith in, let's say he's a Christian, I have faith in Jesus, but I don't know about doing what he asked me to do. Nah. So in other words, you don't really have faith in him. You may believe he exists. We've given that example many times before. You may believe that the government exists, but you don't have faith that following the government is a good idea. And refuge means that the Supreme is protecting you, the Supreme is maintaining you. That's Krishna, sorry, Supreme. Usually when I hear the word Supreme, I think of the singing group, the Supremes. Anyway, so you have, I don't even know if they're still around. So refuge means you have faith that Krishna is taking care of me. Krishna is pulling the strings. He knows what's good for me. He's behind the scenes. Of course, I still have to do some things, but I'm using what Krishna sends me, intelligence that Krishna sends me, the strength that Krishna sends me, the material ingredients that Krishna sends me. But in any case, it's Krishna that's protecting me. Like when Lord Chaitanya would go through the Jharikhanda forest, he would be chanting, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava Rakshamam. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava Pahiman. Protect me, save me, Krishna. So this is really important. Intelligence, mind, faith, and refuge. Refuge, not refuse. Refuge, all fixed in the Supreme. And then there's no anxiety, there's no misgivings. Am I doing the right thing, doing the wrong thing? Should I follow my mind? What should I do? And complete knowledge, and then you can be liberated, which means being Krishna conscious. So purport, the supreme transcendental truth is Lord Krishna. The whole Bhagavad Gita centers around the declaration that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. SPOG for short. That's the acronym. That is the version of all Vedic literature. Para Tattva. Para means supreme or beyond. Tattva means, basically reality or something that exists. So it's the topmost reality, or as Prabhupada says here, the supreme reality, who is understood by the knowers of the Supreme as, and he has three different aspects, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Brahman is the effulgence of Krishna. Paramatma is Krishna's expansion that's in everyone's heart and every atom. And Bhagavan, that's Krishna in the spiritual world. Bhagavan, or the Supreme Personality God, is the last word in the Absolute. There's nothing more than that. And the Prabhupada quotes from the Gita, the Lord says, Matak parataram nanyat kinchid astin dhananjaya. There's nothing superior to me, is what this says. Oh, Dhananjaya. Dhananjaya is the name of Arjuna, which means collector of wealth. The person of Brahman is also supported by Krishna. Another verse from the Gita. Brahmano hi pratishtaham. In other words, I am the source of the impersonal. Krishna directly says this. Therefore, in all ways, Krishna is the supreme reality. One whose mind, intelligence, faith, and refuge are always in Krishna. In other words, one who's fully in Krishna consciousness is undoubtedly washed clean of all misgivings and is in perfect knowledge of everything concerning transcendence. Of course, the statement is, one who knows Krishna knows everything. Yasmin vigati sarvamevam vigatam bhavati. A Krishna conscious person can thoroughly understand that there is duality. Here's a complicated thing. Simultaneous identity and individuality in Krishna. Let me explain it. And equipped with such transcendental knowledge, one can make steady progress on the path of liberation. So here, Prabhupada is mentioning the philosophical construct known as Achintya Beta Abeta Tattva. Achintya means inconceivable. Beta means different, and Abeta means non-different. So, in other words, Krishna is the same and different from everything simultaneously. Or Krishna is the same and different in a specific way from all of his different expansions. It's the same person. So this concept of simultaneous identity and individuality, or simultaneously difference and non-difference, pervades the Krishna consciousness philosophy in many different aspects in relationship to Krishna, Krishna's energies, in so many different ways. Krishna and his expansions, etc. So it's important to understand that particular philosophical construct. So one who understands how Krishna is everything in terms of his energies, his expansions, but also he has a separate identity, individuality, as they say here, a separate identity in Goloka Vrindavan, where he's always enjoying. So this is the nature of God. And sometimes people say, well, if you say that God has a separate identity or even a body, of course now we're talking about a spiritual body, Satchidananda Vigraha, then you're limiting God. But the point is, if you say that God doesn't have his own identity, you're taking something away from him. So we say that God is everything, and simultaneously he has his own personal identity and a spiritual body, because if God doesn't have a spiritual body, then that means he's missing something that's limiting him. So don't limit God. Don't limit Krishna, or else you'll be in big trouble. This is another important verse in this chapter about how we should see things. Vidya vinaya sampane brahmane gavi hastane shuni chaiva swapake cha pandita samadarshanaha. Vidya means with education, vinaya and gentleness, sampane fully equipped, brahmane in the brahmana, gavi in the cow, hastani in the elephant, shuni in the dog, cha and eva certainly, swapake in the dog eater, the outcast, cha respectively, pandita one, those who are wise, samadarshanaha, who see with equal vision. This humble sages, by virtue of true knowledge, see with equal vision a learned and gentle Brahman, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater. In other words, why the dog eater is an outcast. Anyway, please don't eat dogs. So why does he see them all? Because they are all spirit souls inside, driving their bodies. There is a soul. Each and every soul is equal. Each and every soul is equally dear to Krishna. Just different bodies. He also sees the different bodies. I mean, it's not that he just goes sticking his head in a tiger's mouth because he sees it's equal. But he sees, on one level, it's equality. You know, he has his foot or his feet in both worlds. One foot in one world, one foot in the other world. One foot in the spiritual world, he sees that, and he also is able to function in this world, understanding the differences in the different bodies. But he sees, he loves everyone equally. What does that mean, to see? He doesn't hate anyone, hate anything, and he actually loves everyone as part and parcel of Krishna. And he doesn't love people or love entities because of the body. We mentioned this yesterday, that people like certain animals. For example, people like dogs a lot. Why? Because they are obsequious. There's a new word for you. You can impress your mother and father or teacher. Obsequious means someone who's always wanting to serve you. That's pretty nice. Always wanting to serve you. And sometimes people think that if you're a guru, your disciples are obsequious. It doesn't work like that. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was asked, how many disciples you have? In other words, how many people want to serve you? And he said, 4. My 2 arms, my 2 legs. So anyway, if we run into an obsequious creature, then we're in ecstasy, material ecstasy. So a dog, for example, is very obsequious. Cats aren't generally obsequious, but they please us in different ways. You know, dogs please us by, carrying our newspaper, our shoes, waiting at the door for us to come home, and just like, they're our disciples. I mean, everybody wants to have someone who just like listens to you. Bow down. Okay. Yes. Roll over. Okay. Roll over. Fetch. Fetch. So that's why they like dogs. People like cats because they're nice and they purr and they're nice and furry. You pet them and you just like they give you a real good feeling because when you pet them, anyway, it feels good. So so generally, our love or our hate is dependent upon the body of someone or something. I mean, for example, I just read a news article today about uh, these copperheads. And I'm not talking about pots that you cook in, copperhead snakes. And so then I was looking, oh my God, I hope I don't see a copperhead, those rascal demon copperheads. But because obviously it wouldn't please me if it bit me, I'd have to go to the hospital. So, so our approach or our attitude is dependent upon whether something pleases us or displeases us. We're not seeing the soul in there. And so a learned, a humble sage, by virtue of true knowledge, sees the soul, and he loves everybody. And of course, Saint Francis of Assisi, a Christian, he actually had that particular attitude. He considered everyone to be his brother and sister. So a Krishna conscious person does not make any distinction between species or castes. So you'll find in India, there's this casteism. You know, casteism means that because someone is born in a certain family, someone has a particular type of job, someone has a particular, we call gotra, then they reject it. You don't even want to talk to them or you treat them like a dog. And so this is a type of racism. So Krishna conscious person is the opposite of racism, which is ridiculous. He sees everybody equally. And if a person, a Krishna conscious person, is, well, he wouldn't be exhibiting racism. If someone is exhibiting racist tendencies or sexist tendencies, that person is not very advanced, has not understood the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. I mean, sometimes you find people and they appear to be very advanced, but that's not Krishna consciousness. I mean, obviously we understand the difference of the bodies and everything like that, but not discriminate against anyone, anything. Especially human beings have equal opportunities. I mean, obviously you don't give a dog an equal opportunity to go to university. I mean, you got to use some intelligence there. So the Brahmin and the outcast may be different from the social point of view, or a dog, a cow, or an elephant may be different from the point of view of species, but these differences of body are meaningless from the viewpoint of a learned transcendentalist. This is due to their relationship to the Supreme, for the Supreme Lord, by his plenary portion as Paramatma, is present in everyone's heart. Such an understanding of the Supreme is real knowledge. As far as the bodies are concerned, in different castes or different species of life, the Lord is equally kind to everyone because he treats every living being as a friend and yet maintains himself as Paramatma regardless of the circumstances of the living entity. Can you imagine that? Let's say the pig in the slough, you know, that means the pig, anyway, you get the idea, the dirt. Actually, when I was young, there was one festival where people acted like pigs and they were rolling out in the mud with the pigs without any clothes on. Anyway, so sometimes human beings act like pigs. Anyway, the bodies. Anyway, the Lord is Paramatma, is present in both the outcast and in the Brahmin, although the body of a Brahmin and that of an outcast are not the same. The bodies are material productions of different modes of material nature, but the soul and the supersoul within the body are the same spiritual quality. Oh yeah, I remember what I was going to talk about. So even you got that pig there in the pigsty or the plow or the slough, then God's in the heart. witnessing. I mean, that really shows compassion. It's like having a webcam. Imagine if you had a webcam on a pig, attached to his heart, or attached to his head or something like that. I mean, it would be pretty disgusting. So Krishna is so tolerant that he's aware of what the pig is doing. Every single pig. Can you imagine that? In fact, he is called the Kshetragya later on in the Bhagavad Gita. And this means the knower of everybody's body. He knows what you've been thinking. He knows where you are. He can see through your eyes. He's aware of what you are seeing, what you are doing. It's enough to make you scared. Krishna's aware. I mean, we get nervous when we hear about facial recognition and cameras at certain cities. There's like cameras everywhere. Like if you go into London, for example, there's cameras like several on each block. And New York, they're getting like that too. And they have this facial recognition. Oh my God, 1984. So, but Krishna is watching us. And of course, he's our well-wisher. He's not out to get us. Don't be paranoid. That's Krishna. So, in other words, he's there in the heart watching you do all this garbage. I was going to use another word that wasn't going to be so nice. So he's watching you do all this, whatever. He's watching you do it all, and he's patiently waiting for you to say, hey, ain't making me happy. Please save me, Krishna. So anyway, so that's amazing when you think about it, how patient, loving, and everything he is. I mean, I would never sit in everyone's heart and watch them do all this garbage that they do. I have better things to do. And Krishna also has better things to do, but he's able to do it with this expansion. So the similarity in the quality of the soul and the supersoul, however, does not make them equal in quantity. In other words, the soul and the supersoul are the same body. For the individual soul is present only in that particular body, whereas the Paramatma, that's the supersoul, that's Krishna, Para means supreme soul, is present in each and every body. A Krishna conscious person has full knowledge of this, and therefore he is truly learned and has equal vision. The similar characteristics of the soul and the supersoul is that they are both conscious, eternal, and blissful. But why are we not blissful now? Because we have forgotten our blissful nature. It's just like a person who is on the street, he's a pauper, he doesn't have any money, but he's actually forgotten that his father left him millions of dollars. This example is used in the Chaitanya Charitamrita and also the teachings of Lord Chaitanya by Prabhupada, that his father has left him so much money. And yet he's living like a pauper. So, but he is rich, but he's not aware of it. So he has to go to an astrologer who tells him where his wealth is. This is the metaphor told in Srila Prabhupada's book. So he goes to an astrologer and says, dig on the eastern side. That's where your wealth is. But if you dig on the other side, you'll either be bitten by a poisonous wasp or some other thing will happen to you. But the difference is that the individual soul is conscious within a limited jurisdiction of the body, whereas the super soul is conscious of all bodies. That's what I said. Krishna is conscious of all bodies, all minds, all things, at all times, and all places. Wow. That's a supercomputer. So he's called Paramatma or Paracomputer. So he is present in all bodies without distinction. So, text 19. This is very, very interesting. Ihaivatar jitasargo yesham samyesh tatam maraha nirdosham hi samam brahma tasmat brahmani testitaha. Iha in this life, eva certainly tied by them, jitaha conquered sarga, birth and death, yesham thou whose samye in equanimity, stitam situated manaha mind, nirdosham flawless. He certainly, samam in equanimity, Brahma, like the supreme, tasmat, therefore, Brahmani, in the supreme, te, they, stitaha, are situated. Those whose minds are established in sameness and equanimity have already conquered the conditions of birth and death. So in other words, if one sees all living entities, referring to the previous verse, to be part and parcel of Krishna, and just has love for Krishna and love for all living entities, that's the sameness. It's not that everything is one, but that is a type of oneness. And equanimity, it's peaceful. It's already conquered the conditions of birth and death because he's not understanding that Krishna, we talked about before, is the refuge. Krishna is taking care of you. Krishna is protecting you. Krishna is guiding you. Krishna has a plan. And then he's peaceful. They are flawless like Brahman. So Brahman is flawless. And you are Brahman. You are spirit. And they're situated in Brahman. Situated in Brahman means they've realized Brahman. So Prabhupada explains that equanimity of mind, as mentioned above, is the sign of self-realization. Those who have actually attained to such a stage should be considered to have conquered material conditions, specifically birth and death. As long as one identifies with this body, he is considered a conditioned soul. But as soon as he is elevated to the stage of equanimity through realization of self, he is liberated from conditional life. In other words, he's no longer subjected to take birth in the material world, but can enter into the spiritual sky after death, unless he or she chooses to come back to help people. As the matrix goes, go into the matrix to help people. The Lord is flawless because he is without attraction or hatred. Wow. There's a verse. Samaham sarva bhuteshu. Nan edveshu stina priya. Krishna is equal to everyone. And he loves everyone. And whatever he does, it's for the benefit. Similarly, when a living entity is without attraction or hatred, he also becomes flawless and eligible to enter into the spiritual sky. Such persons are to be considered already liberated, and their symptoms are described below. So, of course, we are attracted to Krishna. When we're talking about attraction or hatred, it's to material things. Like we're attracted to go to Disney World or Mickey Mouse, or we hate spinach or something. It's all material things. So, but a devotee is attracted to Krishna and hates to forget Krishna. So you can actually dovetail attraction and hatred in Krishna consciousness. So we have to qualify that attraction and hatred. So here we go. Symptoms. Na prarishyet priyam prapya nodvijet prapya chapriram stirabudira samudo brahmavid brahmani stitaha. Na never. Prarishyet rejoices. Priyam, the pleasant. Prapya, achieving. Na does not. Udvijet, become agitated. Prapya, obtaining. Cha, also. Apriyam, the unpleasant. Stira, buddhi, self-intelligent. Asamuda, unbewildered. Brahmavit, one who knows the Supreme perfectly. Brahmani, in the transcendent. Stitaha, situated. So, a person who neither rejoices upon achieving something pleasant, nor laments upon obtaining something unpleasant, who is self-intelligent, who is unbewildered, and who knows the signs of God, is already situated in transcendence. Wow. In other words, you can achieve something pleasant, you think Krishna sent it. Rejoicing means, I've done something. Or lamenting, it's also Krishna sent something unpleasant, and there's a reason. Because when you understand, as Krishna says in the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Yomam Pashati Sarvatra, when you understand that Krishna is everywhere, or as that verse states in the 6th chapter, one who sees me everywhere, Krishna is speaking, and sees everything in me, never lost to me, nor am I ever lost to him. So one who sees Krishna everywhere understands that Krishna is in charge of everything and controlling. He's the supreme controller. Then you understand that Krishna has done something for my benefit. He sent something pleasant so I can learn something, do something for him. Send something unpleasant because I have a lesson to learn. I have a lesson to learn. And then, in other words, to see Krishna and everything. And then, what is the lesson that I have to learn? You got to figure that out. When Krishna sent this unpleasant thing, someone said to me, "You are a rascal. You are a demon." Whatever they say to me. I can't stand you. Then, what is Krishna saying? Maybe saying, I should be humble. Okay, humble, humble. Or maybe Krishna's saying something else. I mean, who knows? That you should figure out. That's your responsibility. And then once you figure that out, then you got to act on that knowledge. All right, I'm supposed to be humble. Okay, so what am I supposed to do about it? Well, take a position of serving others, serving Krishna. Do some humble service. It won't hurt you to pick up the garbage at the temple. But some people are not like that. They actually have a overinflated. So it's enough to have an inflated conception of yourself. Inflado, in Spanish. Inflated means you've blown up your conception, or as Prabhupada would often say, Mr. Frog, who's blown up his pouch. Rivet. So you have an unfortunate, overinflated conception of yourself. That's even worse than an inflated conception. And you think of yourself as just like, wow, man's gift to humankind, or God's gift to the Hare Krishna movement. Without me, how will things go on? So, anyway, if you're supposed to become humble, you are. And Krishna is sending a message specifically to you that you got problems in that category, Prabhu, then what do you do about it? Well, you go to devotees, you go to people, and you just act in the consciousness that you're a servant. And maybe apologize for anything you've done bad in the past. This never hurts. Actually, it takes a great person to apologize or admit mistakes. Just like we have some certain political leaders who will never admit that they've lied or made a mistake. I mean, it's just bewildering. Because people respect you. It's all right, made a mistake. So what? So what? Life goes on, What? Don't kill me. So the symptoms of a self-realized person are given herein. The first symptom is that he is not illusioned by the false identification of the body with his true self. He knows perfectly well that he is not this body, but is a fragmental portion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I know this is repetitive, but you got to learn it. He is therefore not joyful in achieving something, nor does he lament in losing anything which is related to the body. Okay, Krishna sent this, fine, use it in Krishna's service. The steadiness of mind is called stira buddhi, or self-intelligence. He is therefore never bewildered by mistaking the gross body for the soul. Gross body means this thing you can see. It is gross. I mean, because gross can mean two different things. One, just something you can see, gross, as compared to subtle. But also, gross can refer to something that's really gross or disgusting. So the body is described as tridaduke, anyway, some bodily substances. And many times before we've spoken about the grossness of this body. I mean, it's so gross. There was that one story Prabhupada told that one time someone saw, and I'm probably not getting the story right, but at least it's the purport of the story. So someone saw some stool. Stool means like excrement. And he just said, "Ooh." And the excrement started to talk. I know I don't get the story right, but it's the purport. It's important. The excrement talked and said, "What are you disgusted with? I was nice food before you did this to me." That's an interesting story. So he's never mistaking the gross body for the soul, nor does he accept the body as permanent and disregard the existence of the soul. This knowledge elevates him to the station of knowing the complete science of the absolute truth, namely Brahman, there again, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Brahman, the energy, Paramatma, Krishna, everyone's heart, Bhagavan, Krishna, the person who's in the spiritual world who you get a chance to play with, enjoy, and serve eternally. He thus knows his constitutional position perfectly well without falsely trying to become one with the Supreme in all respects. Impossible. This is called Brahman realization or self-realization. Such steady consciousness is called Krishna consciousness. So text 21. Vayasparsheshva shaktatma vindatyatmani yatsukam sabrahma yoga yuktatma sukham akshayam ashnute. Bhaya, sparsheshu, in external sense pleasure, asakta atma, one who is not attached, vindati, enjoys, atmi, in the self, yat, that which, sukham, happiness, sahahi, brahma yoga, by concentration, Brahman, yukta atma, self-connected, sukham, happiness, akshayam, unlimited. So we have a devotee who used to be called Akshaya before he was initiated. He's unlimited. Ashnute, just limited by his parents. So anyway, Ashnute enjoys. Translation, such a liberated person is not attracted to material sense pleasure, but is always in trance, enjoying the pleasure within. Now, trance in this particular respect doesn't mean trance. It means that he's having his internal life while doing things externally. He's able to multitask in that way. That's what it means. Not that he's just like sitting there, enjoying the pleasure within, and you're not able to communicate with him. Knock, knock. Is anyone there? No. He's doing two things. So internally he's in trance, although externally it appears like he's just like one of us. But it's not like that. In this way, the self-realized person enjoys unlimited happiness, for he concentrates on the Supreme. The Supreme is Krishna. So, here's the heavy verse for you. Shri. Not something from Bhagavad Gita class. Sri Jamunacharya, a great devotee in Krishna consciousness, said, Yadavari Namachita Krishna Padaravinde Navanava Rasa Daman Yudayatam Rantumasit Tadavati Bhata Nadisangame Smaryamane Bhavati Mukavikara Shushtu Nishti Varam Cha. Since I've been engaged in the trance and the loving service of Krishna, realizing every new pleasure in him, whenever I think of sex pleasure, I spit at the thought, my lips curl with distaste. So let me explain who Jamunacharya was, so we don't take this verse out of context. Jamunacharya was a king who had defeated a previous sage in argumentation, and that sage was the main sage of another king, and because he had defeated that sage, Jamunacharya was given half of the kingdom of the king. And so he became absorbed in basically all types of sense pleasure, because being a king, you're a king, you can do anything you want. It's better than being president. So, and basically there had to be a trick to lure him out of that sense pleasure. And one of his grandfather's disciples actually played a trick. And anyway, I'm not going to get into the whole story of Jamunacharya. And then he just like realized, what am I doing? He was just like enjoying life in the physical, gross sense to the highest extent, And so basically, he realized he was wasting his human form of life. This is really the point that's being made here. Not that sex is bad. It can be used in Krishna's service, by a Krishna conscious grahasta. Uh, that's where we get Krishna conscious children. Like Bhaktivinoda Thakur had so many children. One of his sons was Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. If he had not had his sexual relationship, we would not have this great Acharya Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur was praying for a ray of Vishnu before the impregnation of his wife. He was praying, please, please, Krishna, send me your right-hand man to help. So this is how parents can pray. Please, send me someone who is going to actually save people, a great hero. Just don't send me an ordinary materialist who's just going to be interested in eating, sleeping, mating, defending, living his life like a cultured dog. But send me someone who's going to change the world. And because Bhaktivinoda Thakur prayed like that, Lord Chaitanya sent his right-hand man, who was Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and Prabhupada's father and mother. They prayed for a pure devotee of Srimati Radharani. And what did they get? His divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Of course, he wasn't called that when he was born. He was called Abhay Charan Dey. That was his last name, Charan Dey. Dey was his last name, Abhay Charan. So they prayed. And that's what they got. So, I mean, that's the perfection of sex life. So the whole world is moving under its spell, and a materialist cannot work at all without this motivation. But a person engaged in Krishna consciousness can work with greater vigor without sex pleasure, which he avoids, that is, unless it's used in Krishna's service. Spiritual realization and sex pleasure, that means not in Krishna consciousness, go ill together. A Krishna conscious person is not attracted to any kind of sense pleasure due to his being a liberated soul, but he'll accept to serving in the service to Krishna. But he realizes it's not the body. It's as simple as that. He realizes it's not the body. So it's, he's aloof from all these things. That way he's peaceful. He's not in anxiety. I mean, don't we want to be peaceful? To have the mind disturbed all the time is very unpleasant. So here, yehi samsparsha ja bhoga dukkha yonaya evate adyanta vanta konteya nateshu ramate ruda. Yea, those, he certainly is samsparsha jaha, by contact with the material senses, bhogaha, enjoyments, dukkha, distress, yoneha, sources of eva, certainly, te, they are, adi, beginning, anta, end, vanta, subject to, konteya, O son of Kunti, na, never, teshu, and those, ramate, takes delight, buddhaha, the intelligent person. Translation, an intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery which are due to contact with the material senses. He uses the senses, but he doesn't think the goal of life is to please. He's not an Epicurean. Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow you may die. Because it just disturbs you. The son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and end, so the wise man does not delight in them. However, one needs a certain amount of sense gratification in this world. I mean, let's take Prabhupada, for example. Of course, this was an example for us. But once upon a time, devotees, in order to give Prabhupada food that they thought would cure his illnesses like heart problems and everything like that, they were giving him unspiced food, unfried food, boiled vegetables, and they gave it to Prabhupada in the name of health. And Prabhupada said, let the starvation committee go to hell. So in other words, give me something that tastes good. And I know my own experiences, if I get food that doesn't taste good, then I just lose interest in eating. And I'll just lose more weight, which may be a good idea anyway. But But in any case, so we need a certain amount of sense pleasure. Don't take this as indicating that we shouldn't get any sense pleasure. When you are an absolutely pure devotee and you have, the body is just like your car to you, you take care of it and you're not interested in that. But in the meantime, yes, you need some sense pleasure. Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you a funny story about myself. When I was a young devotee, like 20 years old, hard to imagine. I could show you some pictures. But anyway, it's hard to imagine that I was once 20 years old. So I saw some other devotees who were very austere in their eating habits. They eat very, very little. At that time, there was no quinoa, of course. But they were very, very austere. And another devotee said to me, that person is really advanced in Krishna consciousness. And I prayed to Krishna, Krishna, don't let me get really advanced in Krishna consciousness. This is what it means to actually eat that little, not tasty food. So don't worry. Don't take this as something that's threatening to your life. Oh my God, read the Bhagavad Gita. It's all over. I just have to become some dry yogi. Oh my God, misery. If I want to, so who wants to be Krishna conscious on those conditions? So don't take it like that. Take it that you don't take as the goal of your life to just satisfy the senses. But the senses do need to be satisfied under certain, I hate to use the word restrictions, but under certain guidelines. Let's use guidelines. That's less threatening than restrictions. Guidelines, that's all. I mean, I certainly enjoy what I eat. I enjoy my quinoa. I mean, this afternoon I had for dinner, what did I have for dinner? I have an avocado and sauerkraut, hemp seeds. Yes, hemp seeds are all right. Hemp seeds and quinoa and carrots and spinach and olive oil and all sorts of things like that. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Nice. So don't be scared by these particular statements. In other words, but it's not the goal of my life to eat. But because I have to eat, then you really enjoy it. It's nice. And it's prasadam. That's really enjoyment. So you can actually dovetail your sense enjoyment in Krishna's service. You could fit everything in, basically. Material sense pleasure is due to the contact of the material senses, which are temporary because the body itself is temporary. A liberated soul is not interested in anything which is temporary. Knowing well the joys of transcendental pleasure, how can a liberated soul agree to enjoy false pleasure? Because he's enjoying a higher pleasure. But this is very elevated, what's being discussed. Don't get scared. So, Ramante yogino nante sacha nande chitatmini iti rama paradena param brahma vidiyate. The mystics derive unlimited transcendental pleasure from the absolute truth, and therefore the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, also known as Rama, to enjoy. And this Srimad Bhagavatam, the fifth canto, fifth chapter, text 1, it is said, Nayam deo deha bhajram niloke kastan kama maripe vidbhujam ye tapo divyam puchakayena satvam sudyadyasmad brahma shokyam chunantam. My dear sons, there is no reason to labor very hard for sense pleasure, while in this human form of life such pleasures are available to the stool eaters, the hogs. Rather, you should undergo penances in this life by which your existence will be purified, and as a result, you will be able to enjoy unlimited transcendental bliss. So Prabhupada has given us a very interesting, easy process that our penance is to take a lot of prasadam, like Prabhupada said in the beginning. You take it up your neck because it's so wonderful taking Krishna prasadam. It's the taste of Krishna. You dance and enjoy for Krishna. I mean, it's not that you give up anything. You can have families for Krishna. You can have friends for Krishna. You can do whatever you like to do. You can garden for Krishna. Anything you like to do. You can make movies for Krishna. You can be an artist for Krishna. You could be a politician for Krishna. You can be an intellectual for Krishna. Anything, basically. You can be a business person for Krishna. Therefore, those who are true yogis or learned transcendents are not attracted by sense pleasures, which are the cause of continuous material existence. The more one is addicted to material pleasures, the more he's entrapped by material miseries. So the whole idea is not to be addicted, but to take them as they come in Krishna's service, as long as they don't contradict your spiritual path. So it's a gradual process. Just be patient. Okay, on that happy note, after having discouraged everybody, we're going to take questions. Let me just stop sharing the screen and take you all off of my mute. Hold on a second. We will allow you to unmute yourselves. Okay, now you can unmute yourselves if you want to ask a question. Does anyone want to ask a question? Wow, everyone's discouraged. Too much talk about sense gratification. Oh my God, Krishna consciousness, not for me. No more sense gratification. Yes, enjoy your senses in Krishna consciousness. Oh my God. Don't get discouraged. And yeah, it's a gradual path. When you become completely transcendental, that's one thing. You're not like Yamunacharya. So, but don't be like Ravana either. There's a vast difference between Ravana and Yamunacharya. So,
Hare
okay,
Krishna, Gurudev.
oh, Sumuki.
Yes, Gurudev. Uh,
So,
uh, yes, Gurudev, this is a simple question. Uh, sometimes we need to, sometimes we want to gratify our senses, and then we think that we're not supposed to gratify our senses in the wrong way, supposed to be in a Krishna conscious way, and we force ourselves and try to force ourselves to be Krishna conscious.
I think your secretary wants to ask you a question. She just came up behind you.
No, no, no. Uh,
All right, so
yeah.
you don't want
So,
to get kicked out of a
yeah.
job. So anyway, so
No, no, no. She works for me. So
how she works for you? You're the
I'm
boss.
the boss. Yeah, I'm the boss. Yeah. So sometimes you say that we should not force ourselves and we have to go with the flow, and sometimes we think we supposed to be forcing ourselves. So I'm just confused. At which areas that we supposed to be, say no to sanctification?
Meat, fish, eggs. No, don't eat meat, fish, or eggs. How's that sound?
Yes, that's
Uh,
very nice. Yeah, that's easy.
yeah, don't take intoxication.
Yeah, that's it. Very
Don't
easy.
uh, don't gamble.
That's easy.
Uh, don't run around with anyone except for your wife.
Yeah, that's difficult.
So follow the four regulated principles. That's basically it. I mean, that's heavy enough for people nowadays. I'm not going to come up with more regulated principles. It's enough to ask people to follow the four regulated principles and chant the holy names. Just do that. I mean, as they say nowadays, chill out. Chant Hare Krishna, follow the four regulated principles, chant 16 rounds a day, and serve Krishna with your body, mind, and words, and don't worry so much about austerities. I think if we concentrate too much on austerities, on the don't, no, 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 no. Like Prabhupada would say jokingly in the beginning days of the movement, referring to the devotees who like to eat donuts, he would say, we have so many donuts, do nots, in the Krishna consciousness movement. So don't worry about the do nots, just worry about the do's. But you got the four regular principles. They're simple. I mean, gambling, illicit sex. You have a nice wife, so what's the problem? Gambling, illicit sex, intoxication. Don't smoke. Don't smoke those BDs. You don't even know what that is. In India, they would know what that is. So don't smoke and whatever, and don't eat meat, fish, or eggs. No more of that gungafal, fruit of the Ganges. Like it's interesting. You go to India, and they're eating fish, and I say to them, you can't eat fish, And they say, no, no, this is a fruit. It's the fruit of the Ganges, fruit of the sea, so to speak. So anyway, just don't worry so much about austerities, but just follow those regulative principles. If you can do that, someone can do that in Kali Yuga, that is pretty good. We admire them for it. And anyway, if you need to, go to Disneyland. Of course, that's going to be hard because you can't leave Fiji. But anyway, so I'm not going to fault you for going to Disneyland, although sometimes I tease my disciples when they go to Disneyland. And they tell me they had a miserable time. I said, okay, you went to Disneyland, you spent several $1,000s, okay, and you were miserable. I mean, it's easy to be miserable without spending money. You can be miserable for free. So why spend money to be miserable? One time, I went to Disney World. I don't know if I told this story, but anyway, I went to Disney World with Jayapataka Maharaj one time because he wanted to see all the rides there so he could do something in Mayapur. So I thought, wow. And he told me, he'd pay for it. And I said, this is even better. So I don't waste Krishna's money. So we went to Disney World. Of course, we didn't put on the Mickey Mouse hats or anything like that with ears. Can you imagine me and Jayapataka Maharaj walking around with Mickey Mouse hats? No, we didn't do that. So, but we went to Disney World and we went on the rides. But it was the most boring experience I've ever had in my life, especially waiting for the rides. I mean, you have to wait. Sometimes they hide the lines, so you have to wait for 45 minutes or even more to go on a ride. And I just like, oh, so boring. So anyway, so at least I didn't have to pay to be miserable. But some of you have to pay to be miserable. Misery is free. You got to pay to be blissful. Okay, on that happy note, any other questions?
Hare Krishna
Anybody?
Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisance. All glory to
Uh,
Srila Prabhupada.
oh, that's our Sudharma from Sacramento. Yeah, good to see you.
Gurudev, Hare Krishna. Gurudev, I have a question. You have mentioned that the father has left riches and then the son has to dig on the eastern side. Is there any particular reason for digging on the eastern side?
Because that's where Krishna, like India is in the east. So we go to the east. Of course, for you, where you are, India is to the west, because you're in Sacramento, California. But generally, when you talk about India, it's in the east. I mean, generally, it's the east.
Okay.
When you talk about the far east, you're talking about, of course, China or something like that. And then the east, that's India. So, in other words, the spiritual knowledge comes from India. That's why.
Okay, thank you, Gurudev.
But it's just a
Thank
metaphor.
you.
It is just a metaphor. If you can find spiritual knowledge in the north or south, then go for it.
Thank you,
And
Gurudev.
you're on the west coast of the United States, so you're in the west. Okay. Any other quick questions before we end for this evening? And tomorrow morning we're going to be giving Bhagavatam class from the 10th canto, 17th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. That's going to be at 6:30 East Coast time, which is, of course, really early for the West Coast of the United States, 3 hours earlier, which is 8:30 Australia time, or 10:30 in the evening in New Zealand, Fiji time, and I'm sure Nalini Kant will be up at that time, without a doubt. He likes the late night. So thank you very much, and we'll see everybody later. All glories to Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki